I don't know. Okay, we better start or we'll never finish. Good to see you tonight. Man, we're good and scattered. I like this. Now I can look in all directions. Yes, don't let me forget. So, everybody had a good week. These kids are. Oh, they're ready for break. That's it. Yeah, they're hoping, is Henrietta off Friday or going Friday? Yeah. Okay. So you got 2 more days. Sure. I'll take one for the team. You did not hear that, Drew, just so you know. You didn't hear that. It's fine. That's funny. All right. Who would like to start with the praise? Something to kick us off, get us going. I told myself last week this quiet in here was hard for me. See how quiet it is? I need noise. How many of y'all sleep with a fan at night? Yeah, like it's a must for you. See, that's us. We have multiple fans and another machine, and it puts me to sleep, and I sleep all night long. This makes me nervous. This makes me nervous. It's what it is. It's like being in a motel room. You hear everything. Yeah, okay. Anyway, where were we? Praise. I like it. That's good. Where is Don Berno? Owls. Yeah, you might offend somebody if you say senior citizens. He's back on the road, though. He's good to go. Got a new battery in that Lexus. I said, I'm surprised it didn't come with an extra one that automatically switches over whenever the first one goes out. Or that's it, yeah. So, it threw him off, didn't it, Beverly? It threw him off for a day or so. So he was. Christmas lights. He's finishing his Christmas lights, and he may have said that he was putting the rest of his animals out so they could have a drink because it's fixing to rain. You ought to work with him 4 days a week. You wonder why I look so exhausted on Wednesday, and I still have another day to go with him. Yep. He told me that. It's Whopper Wednesday. Listen, I know everything about you guys. I know. I know what y'all do every week. Taco Tuesday, Whopper Wednesday, whatever else happens in Henrietta, yeah. Y'all didn't even know there was such a thing, did you? Oh. Mm-hmm. I feel bad we're talking about him and he can't defend himself because he would have the last word tonight if he were here. Does he? Okay. I'll write that down and share it with him tomorrow. But yes, you guys had a great trip, and 14 went. Is that right? 14 plus Brandon. 13 plus Brandon. So, and like some of you normals didn't get to go. And so that group, if the normal group would have been there, would have been well over 20. And so that's amazing. Praise the Lord for that. I went to Mother Road Market there in Tulsa and had a great time. And then also the Tulsa Museum. And I heard that was good. So glad you guys got to participate. And hey, next month, we're going to do caroling next month. We kind of switched it up. So we're going to do a church-wide caroling. I think it's on the Sunday the 17th, maybe. Is that right, Frank? Oh, he's not up there. He's left us. He's vacated, all right? So we'll be sharing some information about that on Sunday. So if you want to go sing with us, make a joyful noise, you come with us. We had a great time last year. Got to sing at a lot of places and in nursing homes and Crystal Springs. We're planning on doing all that stuff again. So you guys, when we put the sign-up sheet, Mark, I know you can sing. Marcy says, That's good. Speaking of Mark, so this week we have, I got to be on one of the projects, them on both of them. We've installed 3 beds this week. So 1 set of bunk beds and then a single bed yesterday. So, and we've got an order for 2 more, a set of bunk beds that we can make any day and deliver any day. So that ministry is continuing to grow, wouldn't you say? It's growing, and more people are not only hearing about it, but they're in need, and that's the main thing. We're not just giving away beds. They're for people who don't have anything, who are sleeping on the floor, who don't have the means to make that happen. And so that's what it's all about. So appreciate those guys. Any other praise? See it? Hear it? It's too quiet. Thank you. Thank you. Pastor, yeah, we got some good ones. Yeah. Thank you. I'll give you the money later. I don't think I can break 100. We appreciate you guys too. So it's been a good month, and so many cards and nice gifts, presents. You guys have been awesome. So appreciate that. All right, turn with me to John chapter 12. We have made it to chapter 12. Yes. Prayer requests? I usually do those at the end. Brother Brandon, I've listened to him at times like, man, you've got them so confused. They don't know what to do. He does it at the beginning. I'm like, I like it better at the end, then I don't forget. But if you can hold on to it till the very end, buddy, that would be ideal, because I don't even have my pen on me at the moment, so I will forget. John chapter 12. So let me back up just a moment and make sure we know where we're at in John, not just by chapter, but by the events that have transpired and that have taken place. Hey guys, come on in. So we are past Lazarus' resurrection. We did that a couple weeks ago. He is resurrected from the grave, and so we're in the time span after that. Okay, as you can imagine, anytime someone is raised from the dead, and they didn't see it very often or ever in that day. Of course, Jesus was about a week away, as we're looking at tonight, from his resurrection from the grave. So you can imagine that when someone is resurrected who was dead, remember how many days was he dead? 4, right? So all the Jewish stuff that they felt like needed to happen, they just blew that out of the water. It caused a stir. You can imagine that there were people like, say what? How did that happen? Who did that? And so, again, like we've talked about the last couple months, some are stirred for the right reasons, and some are stirred for the wrong reasons. There are some who even though there was a resurrection, said, don't believe it. Who is this man? What are we going to do with him? How do we quiet him down, right? How do we stop him from converting people, which kind of should blow our mind that people actually think that way. Jesus is on the scene, right? And so many believed, of course, we know that, and then many they were upset. So, as I mentioned just a minute ago, this account that we're reading tonight, less than a week, Jesus is less than a week from the cross, okay? And you got Lazarus in the home of his sisters. Remember their names? Mary and Martha, right? So you got Lazarus in the scene, who is in the home of his sisters, Mary and Martha. They're in, remember, Bethany. That's where all the events were taking place. And Jesus is also there, and some of the disciples. And so we've kind of got our scene set here. And most believe that they're all there to celebrate. Now, why would they be there to celebrate? Lazarus was just raised from the dead. Remember how distraught Mary and Martha were? Both of them went to Jesus and they fell down before him. And remember what they said? If you had just been here, right? And the emotions, the swing of emotions from one side in loss, like they're never going to see their brother again, even though, Jesus says, yeah, but there's coming a resurrection. And Jesus is like, yeah, but I am the resurrection. Remember that? And then Jesus kind of goes and shows off, doesn't he, on that fourth day. And he says, Lazarus, come forth. And so, wouldn't you celebrate? If that was your brother, wouldn't you celebrate? And if that was your friend, wouldn't you celebrate? And so the scene in John chapter 12 is just that. Lazarus is with his sisters. You've got Jesus, some of the disciples, others that have gathered, and they're there to celebrate all that God had done. And so let me read our text tonight. John chapter 12, starting in verse 1. It says, Jesus, therefore, 6 days before the Passover, came to Bethany, where Lazarus was, whom Jesus had raised from the dead. So they made him a supper there, and Martha was serving. Big surprise, right? But Lazarus was one of those reclining at the table with him. Mary then took a pound of very costly perfume of pure nard and anointed the feet of Jesus and wiped his feet with her hair, and the house was filled with the fragrance of the perfume. But Judas Iscariot, one of his disciples who was intending to betray him, said, why was this perfume not sold for 300 denarii and given to the poor people? Now he said this not because he was concerned about the poor, but because he was a thief, and as he had the money box, he used to pilfer what was put in it. Therefore Jesus said, let her alone, so that she may keep it for the day of my burial. Verse 8, for you always have the poor with you, but you do not always have me. And the large crowd of the Jews then learned that he was there, and they came, not for Jesus' sake only, but that they might also see Lazarus, whom was raised from the dead. They wanted to verify all that they had heard. Is he really there? Let's touch him. Let's put our eyes on him, make sure. And it says, but the chief priests, this is in verse 10, planned to put Lazarus to death also, because on account of him, many of the Jews were going away and were believing in Jesus. So if you skip to the very end, you can see why they're so upset. Did you catch it? Because they were believing in who? In Jesus. Can you imagine being so upset that you're willing to go and eradicate not only Jesus, but the man whom he just raised from the dead? That's wild to me. But this just shows you the kind of people in the day in which Jesus was living that is a lot similar to what we're living in today. All right, big question I want us to think about tonight. Here it is. What fragrance are we filling the rooms of our life with? Think about that for just a moment. What fragrance? When we think of fragrance, we're thinking about our lives. We're thinking about our testimony. We're thinking about everything that we're doing for the kingdom. What does that look like in our life as we're living it? And so that's the big question that we're going to look at. And the reason why is because we see two accounts in this text in chapter 12, one of Mary and one of Judas, that reveals truly who they are foundationally. Right? You can't hide a fragrance, can you? When you step into a room, you know it immediately. You may not know necessarily what the smell might be, but you know it's there. You cannot hide it. And that can be said of both Mary, and that can be said of Judas. And as you already know, they're on polar opposites, are they not? And we can define it by our text this evening. And so let's start with Mary. Let's walk through this and notice some things that she is filling the room up with that would be her life. The first thing that we see is what is in her possession. If you're taking notes tonight, you can write that down. What is in her possession? Well, the Bible tells us, starting in verse 3, what she has with her. In other words, she is not empty-handed in the presence of Christ. She is not empty-handed in the presence of Jesus. The Bible